Joining us right now from USCFootball.com is Ryan Abraham. Ryan, thanks a lot for coming on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, USC 4-0. We kind of expected, and get the media part of the schedule coming up. But I'm really excited. It's like middle of college football already. It got here really quick.
All right, so Ryan, when this game hit the schedule like 3-4 weeks ago, it was basically a pick'em game. The odds, USC now a 7.5-point favorite based on Illinois getting hammered at Indiana last weekend. Is that number 7.5, in your opinion, about right? Too many points for USC or not enough? What do you think?
Yeah, it came out at 5.5 the first I saw. That seemed better. Over a touchdown, that's a big number. But USC has one of the best offenses in the country. And it's funny when you look at what Illinois doesn't do well. Obviously, you got Luke Altmaier, the talented quarterback coming back, a lot of experience. But if you watch that Duke game where Illinois pulled away, they got a lot of turnovers in that one. They couldn't block anybody. And then against Indiana, they couldn't block anybody either. USC leads the nation with 16 sacks. So I feel like on the defensive side, sort of USC's strengths are lining up with Illinois' weaknesses, and no one's been able to stop USC's offense. So I think that number is probably about right. We'll see if they can keep it going on the road. But I think the way they're playing right now, John, that number seems good.
Although I will say that I looked up at the score, was the third quarter, and Michigan State was within a touchdown, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And what is going on defensively? Why did they give up so much yardage and so many points to Michigan State?
They did a pretty good job most of the game, and then they just sort of imploded in that third quarter where the Michigan State punted to USC. USC got a 3-and-out after halftime. Scored right away. They won the middle eight. They went 14-0 over that middle eight, and you're like, okay, USC's rolling. And then the wheels fell off, and they have that drive which aided by 4 USC penalties, basically gifting the Spartans a touchdown. And then the rare turnover, USC turns it over right away, and Michigan State's got a short field and punches it in again. But I think last year we would have seen this team sort of like, okay, now it's a tie game, as opposed to it shouldn't be a 7-point game. They stretch it back to 21. Now, they did give up that 75-yard touchdown bomb at the end, and if you're a betting person, that probably didn't go well for you. But I would say they bounced back after, some adversity, which last year, if they had that adversity, they wouldn't bounce back from.
Ryan Abraham from USCFootball.com is with us. Ryan, I know this might be a little bit of a homer take by me, but I look at Jayden Maiava's numbers, and he's got 9 touchdowns. He's got no interceptions. He's completing 70% of his passes. Is he a Heisman candidate, in your opinion?
I'm a voter in the Heisman, and I think if you're the quarterback at USC and the team is winning, you're going to probably be in the conversation. I think his number so far has put him in that. He's done a good job running the ball, too, picking up first downs, got some touchdowns. I think if he can keep that going, 4 straight games without a turnover, where he had 7 in the last 4 games where he started last year. So I think he's cleaned that up a lot. He seems like much more of a leader for this team. Having a whole offseason where he wasn't thrust into the starting role at the end of the season when things were going poorly, I think it's helping him a lot. Now, USC's going to have to keep winning, and he's going to have to keep those numbers up. But I think the latest I saw in Vegas was he's like number 10 on the list, which he wasn't anywhere close to that before. But if USC's winning a bunch of games, they go 9-3 or 10-2, and his numbers are great, he's probably going to be up there in that conversation.
The running game helps him a lot. I mean, a great nickname, Wayman Jordan has been terrific. Ran for more than 100 in this game last week. And by the way, Eli Sanders also really, really good, kind of a speed back. First of all, where is that coming from? Wayman Jordan was a transfer, a JUCO transfer. What is making him so successful right now?
Yeah, I mean, he won the Heisman equivalent for junior college last year. And then Eli Sanders came out of, the New Mexico program where he just brought a lot of speed. And it's been a nice 1-2 punch. If you want to say, you can be critical of Lincoln Riley, one thing he's done really well is bring in transfer running backs. And Wayman Jordan is actually not a one-and-done guy like the other guys, like, Travis Dye and all those guys that came before. Woody Marks is doing well, and, Marshawn Lloyd. Those guys are in the NFL. But he, for him to come in and have more time and to look the way he does, like everything we saw on film, everything we heard from coaches and people that have scouted him were like, this guy's going to be a legit player in the Big Ten. And so far, he has been. It was a really quiet 167 yards or wherever he had against Michigan State. I feel like he's someone that can really help USC. And then Sanders being like kind of a change of pace guy where he's got so much speed and you can dump him the ball out of the backfield. And Brian Jackson's been hurt the last couple of games, but they really like him too, punishing a bigger back. But the running game's working well. I think a lot of USC fans who maybe weren't happy with like a spread kind of thing coming in, when they run the ball, they ran a lot of two-back sets in that game against Michigan State too. And some of the fans really like that.
Ryan Abraham with us. Ryan, answer this question honestly, okay? In your opinion, will UCLA win a football game this year?
I mean, this is a good chance this weekend, right, with Northwestern. I think they will. I'm going to go yes. I think that 0-12 though is like the goal, right? Like that's like you can make history with something like that. It's way more cool to be 0-12 than to be like 1-11 or 2-10 or something like that. But I feel like you can rally around the interim coach. We saw that happen with USC when
Coach O
came in. And they I think it was Washington State game they won. That was their best win the whole season. That was the first game he took over. So I feel like they have a shot this weekend against a not so good Northwestern team. I don't know about the rest of the way, but this weekend I like it.
The old dead coach bounce. It tends to work. Last thing for you, what's the status of Jacobe Lane? This is kind of mysterious. What's going on with him?
Yeah, so USC's, one or two 1A, 1B receiver along with Mekhi Lemon. We heard on last Wednesday that he didn't practice, and then looks like some kind of shoulder thing. Lincoln Riley hasn't given us a real update except for after the game, making it sound like this isn't going to be a one game and back thing. It sounded like it was possible he could play this weekend against Illinois, but it seemed from Riley's words, if you're looking between the lines, it's more likely that he's going to be out for another game or two. They have a bye after this, so maybe he misses the Illinois game and is back for that. The offense didn't really miss a beat, but you really want a guy like that can be a security blanket where Jayden Maiava can just throw it up in the air and he's going to be able to do something with it. So my guess is, if I had to bet right now, we haven't heard specifically, but I would guess he's not going to play this weekend, and we'll probably see him after the bye week against Michigan.
Okay, so for people that don't know, Ryan has been running USCFootball.com for 30 years. He's been around the USC football program the entire time Mason and I have been around it. That's how we know Ryan so well. Ryan, tomorrow on ESPN, right after we get off the air at 4 o'clock, they are airing a documentary called The Many Lives of Lane Kiffin.
Wow.
And it's hosted by Ryan McGee, who grew up with Kiffin and knows him from Marty and McGee. Ryan, as far as USC people are concerned, what is Lane Kiffin's legacy to the Trojans?
I mean, the tarmac is that's all everyone says,
Right.
Whenever a coach is struggling, you're going to be tarmacked. It's become, it's a verb. It's
the Lane Kiffin Memorial Firing Room is what we call that.
Yeah. I remember coming in studio with you guys after Pete Carroll left, and I think when Lane Kiffin came in there, and I think when he, the way he left, and some of the fans weren't really happy, but, he was young. I think he's grown a lot as a coach. When USC's had coaching searches more recently, I think a lot of fans have said, hey, we'd love to bring him back now. Maybe it wasn't the right time when he was in there. But I think for the most part, and he's so, he's likable on social media. He's a lot of fun to follow and stuff. So he's a quirky guy for sure, but I don't think there's any kind of ill will towards him, like a Paul Hackett or a Clay Helton or something like that.
All right. Hey, Ryan, have a great time in Champaign and bring back a win, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you, Ryan. Have fun.
Ryan Abraham, USCFootball.com.